What's up, everybody? It's John Morgan. Listen, I want to just say thank y'all to everybody who has been supporting this podcast. I cannot grow this without the support of the community who allows me to grow. So thank y'all to everybody who's been supporting, everybody who's been sharing it, everybody who is a subscriber on YouTube, everybody who has purchased merch from me, everybody who just tells somebody, you know, through telling somebody in conversation, who share these podcasts in your group text. Thank y'all. I cannot do this without you guys. So thank you for that. Right now, we want to ask for a specific type of support right now. If you can, stop what you're doing. Yes, you right now. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing right now. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Become a subscriber to this page, the Live Your Purpose Podcast YouTube channel. Become a subscriber. Like, share, tell somebody about it. But stop what you're doing right now. Go to your YouTube page and become a subscriber. Click it. Click subscribe on the YouTube page and become a subscriber of this page. It allows us to grow, and it allows us to touch different reach with different people. So please, if you call yourself a supporter, if you want to continue to see us grow and continue to see us build, stop what you're doing right now. Go to YouTube, click that subscribe button, like, thumbs up, all of that. Please, right now, Live Your Purpose Podcast. Peace. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Live Your Purpose Podcast. I'm your host, John Morgan Jr. Before we get into who our wonderful guest is for today, man, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting. Much love to the community of people who, continue to support, whether that's watching the podcast, the video, whether that's watching the audio, whether that's purchasing the merch, whether that's just telling somebody through word of mouth and telling a friend about what we're doing over here at LYP. I cannot do that without the community, and I really appreciate that. I never want to take that for granted, and I want you guys to know how much we genuinely support that. For those of you who do not know, LYP, man, this is a space where we specifically want to have conversations with entrepreneurs, and we want to talk to them about their backstories, but we also want to just be intentional about what they're currently doing that really helps them live their true selves and how they're living their purpose. And through having conversations with entrepreneurs, we're really able to tap into like the psychology from, how these people are not only facing fears, how they're overcoming adversity, but how they're doing things that make themselves uncomfortable every day to really be able to live their true selves. So that's what LYP is really all about. And we do that by having conversations with, super dope entrepreneurs. So our next guest, man, that we have, man, I'm super excited about having him on. We traveled, myself and the gang, and got on the plane, man. We came down here to ATL. We've been trying to make this happen for a few months. And I'm super happy to be here, and I'm honored to have these people, man. So we got the Careys with us, man. We got Aaron and Nadiyah Carey. They're entrepreneurs. They're owners of the company Connect. They're educators of credit. They assist in credit repair and also credit growth. And they're also owners of the Airbnb business, which we are actually staying in here. So much love to them as well. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, man,
we blessed.
we great. We blessed. We can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Yes.
Man, I'm so excited to have y'all on here for a variety of different reasons. But one of the things that I really appreciate about y'all, and that like I seen from a distance, is y'all really do the work. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's no BS with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I can really tell that like y'all are sacrificing a lot of leisure time to really provide the service that y'all doing. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. Like you can't lie about that. You know what I'm saying? You can pick through.
That one.
Yeah, you can't fake that. So I appreciate y'all being here. So how are y'all? Genuinely, how are y'all doing today?
Today, I'm great. I'm blessed to be here. I'm thankful every morning I wake up, really, because I have friends who ain't here. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for where we are as a couple, as a unit, as a family, and I'm just thankful for the people who are able to pour into each and every day. So I'm good.
Beautiful. What about you, good brother? How you feeling, man?
Around the same lines. I mean, I'm blessed. I can't complain about nothing. We're in a beautiful situation. I got my family here, right? I got, my daughter, my mother is now living with us. We got a lot going on. Our businesses are growing. They're not where we want to be at just yet, but they're growing. And I can't complain, man. I'm truly blessed.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's start at the very beginning. You know, I really want to get into y'all's story, but let's start at the beginning for y'all individually before we even get into the unit of what y'all are today.
Yeah.
Like, individually for both of y'all, when you reflect back on your childhood and, you know, those early experiences, what are some of the things that really stand out for you? I want to start with you first, Nadiyah. When you think about those early experiences being a youngster, what's some of those things that really, you know, stand out for you?
Yeah, I feel like I was always very business oriented, even as a kid. You know, I was the only girl in the daycare with all boys.
Okay.
And I would draw pictures and I would have them selling my pictures to adults for me. You know, so like that entrepreneurial spirit has always been ingrained in me. I've always been a leader. I've always been a little mature for my age, as people would say, I guess. But I think that that's always been there. So, you know, it's interesting for me just kind of looking back. I'm like, I don't feel like, not that I was never a kid, but I always saw more for myself, you know, and I always wanted to go after that, even as a youngster.
That's good. That's good. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, as a kid, I was just an athlete, right? I played a lot of basketball growing up. I was on the AAU circuit. So I really didn't get the experience getting a job or having to do things like that. But my dad, he always had his own hauling business. So I seen him literally leave out the house 6 a.m, right? Sometimes 8 a.m. after dropping me off at school. He won't come back in the house until it's dark, it's night. You know what I'm saying? So I got to experience entrepreneurship up close and personal, right? So I got to learn from my father exactly what it takes to be an entrepreneur, some of the mistakes and the flaws that he had in his business, and how I could kind of, you know, take what I learned from him and what I didn't learn from him to be able to do what I'm doing here today. But as a child, man, I got to be a kid. I got to travel the country. I played against numerous, you know, people, some that's playing in NBA right now. Just because I was in the AAU circuit, I played football, and I got to enjoy being a child. So, yeah.
So, man, when you reflect back on those times, you know, seeing your pops, you know, have his own business as a youngster, what's some of the things that really stand out for you? You know what I'm saying? And the reason I ask that is because I always like to, you know, pick people's brains about their earliest experience of, you know, entrepreneurs and creatives. You know, because for me, you know, that wasn't necessarily my own experience. You know what I'm saying? I had other experiences that were intentional, you know, so it's always interesting to me to hear people who were exposed to entrepreneurship and just creators at an early age. So, like, what's some of the stuff that really stands out for you?
I think, for one, I got to see how hard my dad worked, right? He worked hard, like I said, from the morning to the nighttime. It was, like I said, it was sometimes he wouldn't come home till the job was done. And when the job was done, when he got paid, right? We all know as entrepreneurs, it's not an everyday paycheck. It's not a weekly paycheck. We don't know what we're going to come home to every Friday, right? So I literally seen him have to bust his ass to be able to provide for the family, right? And then number two, I also seen the struggles of an entrepreneur, right? My dad still works on that truck till this day. Different truck, obviously, because the equipment broke down. But he still works on the truck till this day. He never was able to scale up to get employees up under him to be able to just step back from the business and allow the business to work for him. He's still, to this day, working for his business. So that's one main takeaway. I don't want to be that, right? I don't want to be that at all. So those are the two biggest takeaways.
And what about for you? So who were some of your earliest, you know, influences or just like, you know, people that you were exposed to in entrepreneurship early on?
So I would start with my mom, and my mom was not an entrepreneur per se, but she worked extremely hard. So growing up, she always worked for the Federal Reserve Bank of downtown Cleveland. And she was in an administrative position. And one thing that she really instilled in us was hard work. She was a single mom, so kind of watching her take care of my brother and I, you know, in itself was one thing, but I always knew that, okay, there has to be more. There has to be more than one building that you go and clock in for 25 years. And she never wanted that for us, you know. So she would always encourage us, hey, you know, explore. Do what you want. But if we started, like I was a cheerleader growing up. So I cheerleaded all the way through middle school, through high school. I cut when I got to college, okay, it was different. But even doing that, you know, she would say, you know, if you start something this year, then you're going to do it the entire season or the entire year, and then you go to the next thing. And what that really instilled in me was hard work. So even though I didn't get entrepreneurship from that, I understood why I needed to be an entrepreneur, because I saw the sacrifice that she was making and the little merit that it led to, right? But then I also understood there's always more, right? So she made sure that we were able to do that. So I would definitely say my mom there. And then just watching different women growing up, like I mean, for one, I'm a huge Beyonce fan. I love her.
Okay. But, shout out to the Beehive.
Okay, please.
Yeah, for sure.
But just looking, I mean, she's right there, okay, on the wall, you know?
She's
there.
Yeah, go ahead.
But really just looking at her career and how she came in as a child and was just able to take over the industry the way that she did, you know, along with her family was beautiful to me. Like, family has always been huge to me. So to see the way that she was able to grow, how she kind of pivoted in her career. Same thing with Rihanna. Those are probably my top 2 women that I love.
Okay.
But just their unapologetic artistry is beautiful to me. You know, not knowing when to pivot and not caring what anybody's thinking. Like, Rihanna said the album was coming out and we don't know where it's at. It ain't been here for about 4 or 5 years.
It might be a rap. We might not be getting no more Rihanna music.
And I'm
it might
okay
be a
with
rap.
that. I am so okay with that
Yeah.
because what, she a millionaire, billionaire now?
Billionaire.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
it's going crazy.
She's killing it.
Right,
But people got so caught up and I'm like, I love that about her. I love that she knows who she is and she's so comfortable in that she's able to say, it's time for me to pivot and it's time for me to do something else. So those are definitely 2-3 women that definitely encourage me.
That's beautiful. Now those are the experiences that I can resonate with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't exposed to entrepreneurs per se, but like one of the things that I learned early on from my mother specifically is that she was a grinder, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? My mom worked at Chrysler, which, you know, a lot of the people, you know, in Northeast Ohio work, you know, a lot of those people came up working in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I learned from my mother early on is that, like, whether if it was first shift, second shift, third shift, my mom was going to work and she was grinding, you know what I'm saying? She was putting food on the table, but she also worked so hard to the point where, like, you know, I could see the distress that it caused on her later on in life. And for me, it let me know, like, okay, I understand the security that comes, you know, with having a job, but at the same time, man, I want to create something a little bit more, you know, that allows me to really be able to thrive and be free.
Right.
And that's what I got from artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I learned from, you know, some of my favorite artists and creatives. Like, okay, this is an avenue that allows, you know, that's going to allow me to be able to create something and build something for not only for myself and for my family, but for the people who I'm not going to get a chance to meet. You know what I'm saying? The people who are going to be coming after me.
Right.
So that's an important thing for people to really be able to understand is that, like, a lot of us is not going to be, you know, exposed to entrepreneurs per se, but we can still pick up on those traits, which you said as well, which is that, listen, my pops worked hard. Hard work is going to translate no matter what field you in. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And as we know, being entrepreneurs, you work harder, you know what I'm saying, on this side of the game.
Working.
Disclaimer, there's no more 40-hour weeks as an entrepreneur.
No,
you're going above and beyond that for sure.
Yeah. Well, listen, y'all own individuals, but like, let's start with y'all origin. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did y'all two come together? Like I was telling y'all off camera, in doing my own little research, like what I did was, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go to both of their Instagrams and see when they posted pictures of each other. What was the first one?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, okay, that was like the set telling point. But like, what was y'all origin story? Like, tell people how y'all started, how y'all formed, and like, you know, how that ultimately evolved in what we seeing today.
I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously I'm from Akron, not even Cleveland Heights. We actually met at Ohio State.
Okay.
So we both went to school at Ohio State, both graduated from Ohio State, and that's where we met. Originally, we were just friends, right? Ohio State is a large school, but it's a small black community, right? So the black students at Ohio State, you pretty much know everybody that's in your class and the classes that you're in the school with, right? So we met probably at like the Hale Center, which is like the black center at Ohio State. Like I said, we became friends. And what was that about?
Not even super close friends, though.
No, we weren't
We weren't even close
but
friends.
we was cool. It was like a mutual respect. It wasn't like we was friends and we like kicking and hanging out. It was just like, no, like that's not like we both had our own individual stuff going on campus, right? I was known for throwing the parties, kicking it, and you know what I'm saying? And Nadiyah was more so known for, I would say, better reason than I was. She was on like Heritage Fest, which is like a huge
I was on all the clubs,
annual
all
festival.
the organizations, president of,
Exactly. But we still were, I would call us pretty known and prominent on campus. So, you know, just being mutual leaders on Ohio State's campus, you know, we kind of connected then. And it was, what is that, our junior year?
Yeah, junior year.
Our junior year, that's really when we started kicking it. And then once we started kicking it, it really wasn't too long after that. Then it was like, all right, we go together.
Yeah.
A week? It was short. It was a week.
It was my 21st birthday, and he and his friends, they threw a party at this, well-known club. Charlie Bear. Shout out to Charlie Bear for everybody who went to OSU, okay? But that was around the block from my house, and it was my 21st birthday, so clearly a very lit night, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
But I bagged him that night. I bagged him that night, okay?
You bagged him?
I bagged him.
Okay.
And from there, it was solidified. It was okay.
That was it. It was like,
that maybe happened on Saturday. We went on a fake date on Friday, and by the next Saturday, we were together.
She started twerking on me, and I was like, we go together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we go together now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the beginning of it. And then shortly after, like I said, we were already driven on campus. We already had goals. We already had ambitions. And at that point in time, I wasn't even in school. I had dropped out of school.
Yeah.
But I was still on campus. You know how that be. You drop out. You ain't going to class,
100%.
but you still on campus,
100%.
right? So I was in one of them type of situations where I wasn't in school.
Can we backtrack though? Because you had a full ride.
I had a full ride.
Let's make that known.
Okay.
Aaron had a full ride.
I had a full ride, but I wasn't the best student in college. All right. What I wanted to do when I went to college, I thought it was gonna be easy like high school. I got through high school pretty easy. Yeah. I was a A. I think I graduated like a 3.8, 3.6, something like that. I was a good student, and I didn't really try in high school. So I took them same practices.
And you had an academic full ride.
I had an academic, right? So I took them same practices to Ohio State, and they just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a lot more studying, a lot more, making sure you do these assignments, things of that nature.
A lot more freedom.
And a lot more freedom, right? And that freedom led me to just partying, kicking it. So that got me in a situation where I ended up losing my scholarship a few times.
Okay.
But I ended up fighting for it back, going back and forth and getting back in. So I don't know why Nadiyah want to put my business out there like that. But it's all good. I did drop out of school at least twice. Yeah. But I did finish. I got that degree. So holla at me.
Okay. Right. Well, listen. We coming off a crazy year in
for sure.
2020. I know for myself, man, I learned a lot about myself. It was a lot of pivoting, as you said, a lot of transition, a lot of just overall change. For y'all, like, what did y'all learn about yourselves in the pandemic in 2020 specifically?
Yeah, I think the main thing that resonates with me is my faith has gotten me places that the facts don't support.
Oof.
And that's
break that down.
Yeah, let me break it down for y'all. Literally, like you said, the pandemic, people, death around us, right? People are getting sickly. People are losing jobs, right? And I had a vision that let me go back it up. So we got into this trucking game, right? Somebody had told me, they literally just told me, hey, AC, I'm making X amount of dollars in trucking. They said about $5,000 a week in trucking. As soon as I heard that, I instantly pivoted because I wasn't making no money at this point in time, right? I was literally Ubering, just trying to figure it out. Because the one thing about me is I'm unemployable. I'm terrible at jobs.
Yeah.
Literally, I could probably count on my hand how many jobs I had, and I never got fired from any of them because I quit before they could fire me. That's how bad of an employee I am, right? So I was to the point where I would do anything to not get a job, right? Even sacrifice and struggle. And at some points, put us in a bind, our relationship and our family, because I didn't want to go get a job, right? So I'm in a space where I'm just trying to make things work. Like I said, I'm Ubering. I got like side projects, trying to do graphic design, things of that nature, just trying to keep it afloat. I'm trying to pay the bills at this point. And I hear a guy, he talk about this trucking industry. Hey, I'm making $5,000 a week. I got my own truck. He said, and it's easy. He said, all you gotta do is get your CDL, go get your own truck. After I had that conversation, not a week later, I was in CDL school, going to get my CDL, right? Right after I graduated CDL in 4 weeks. And not even a week after that, I was buying a truck. And I took a loan from my mom. My mom took a loan from her retirement, boom, to put down on the loan. I think I got. And Nadiyah,
she looking like, wait a minute, don't miss this part of the story.
Hey, listen, Nadiyah, right? She wasn't even my wife. She my girlfriend, not even my fiance. I started learning about credit. This is crazy because it takes me back to the origin of everything. I started learning about credit off of YouTube University. I'm learning about
Shout out
to YouTube. I'm learning how these people are getting these credit cards, these high limit credit cards, 0% interest for a year. So after studying YouTube for about a week, I go up to Nadiyah. I say, look, Nadiyah, my mom gave me $15,000. I need about another $20,000, right? I said, listen, I've been learning. It's what we can do. At this point, my credit is literally shot. I had a 490 credit score, so I had no means of getting no credit limits extended to me at all, right? had a 490 credit score. Nadiyah over here, she had that 700 plus. I'm looking at her like, okay, this is the play. So I explained it to her. She really didn't get it at first. She's like, you want me to do what? Take out these credit cards to do what? The truck. You just learned about this truck, right?
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, she ended up going for it. She ended up doing it. We buy the truck. I get that truck, man. I buy the worst truck you could possibly buy.
Oh my God.
I spent $25,000 on the truck. I pull into a mechanic like, man, this thing gonna need at least $10,000-$15,000 more of work. At this point, I'm tapped out. I done used my mom's loan. I done used her money up.
Cards.
So at this point, I got a sitting truck, and it's a lemon. I can't make no money off of it, and I'm trying my hardest. I'm asking people, yo, you want to partner up? You want to do this? No one was biting. So eventually, I'm like, okay, I got to give in, right? Because now it's putting a strain not only on our finances, our whole relationship, our household. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take a job. The best thing I could have done, though, because it taught me a lot about the industry. So I went and I started working for this company called A&R Logistics, right? And we was doing resin. Basically, I was driving a tank, and inside that tank was a bunch of plastic that would make, like, you know, car parts, milk cartons, water bottles, things of that nature. So I got some experience doing that. And not even 6 months into the job, one of my good friends from college, right? So this is very important that you have and you build these relationships.
Networks, yeah.
Right? One of my homies from college said, yo, I need you. He had a trucking company as well. He said, yo, I need you up in Toledo tomorrow. Right? So I'm on the road at this point. I might even be coming back from Canada. I called Nadiyah. I'm like, yo, Joe's calling about this opportunity up in Toledo, whoop-de-whoop. So at this point, Nadiyah's not hearing it because she like, nah, you need to be working so we can pay off this debt that you got me in. Your truck's sitting at this point. It's been 6 months. You ain't did nothing with the truck. We still paying parking rent on the truck, right? So long story short, we end up going up to Toledo, and this is at the peak of COVID, right? We end up going up to Toledo, and what happened was we went up there to basically put our eyes on a facility for one of my homies, because he had an operation going on in Toledo. He's living in Indianapolis. We was going up there to hire on some people, right, to get him some more drivers. We ended up going up there, and we seen there was a huge need. It needed some leadership, it needed some management, it needed some cleaning up, and they needed drivers. So we ended up negotiating a deal to the point where we got paid for managing, we got paid to hire drivers, and we were getting paid a portion of the budget that was going to the drivers was going to come to us for being the people that hired them and being over them, right? So long story short, we went out there. I ended up, I didn't leave my job, but I went on like a little sick leave situation where it was like, okay, job.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID stuff happening.
Right.
I just needed to leave out. We went up to Toledo. We got an Airbnb up there.
Oh my gosh.
We did about a weekend. The first week, I think our first check was like $6,000. We was like, okay.
We do this.
Yeah, we can do
I
this,
said,
right?
okay, trucking, huh?
And that was with like 5 or 6 drivers we hired.
Yeah, that we brought out there with
And
us.
then the next week came by, we hired about 6 more. Check came back, 10,000. We said, oh, okay. Mind you, like I said, not even 6 months ago, I was probably making $20,000, $25,000 a year.
All right.
Now we come out here for 1 week to check 5,000, check 8,000, right? And then next you know, for the next 3 months, we making 18,000, 15,000, 20,000, 22,000 every single week getting deposited into our accounts for a business, right? That it wasn't even our business. It was my homie's opportunity, but he brought our company on to help his company, right? So the play was already in front of us. We just had to say yes to the opportunity, right? And the crazy thing about it, that's the first time we really started making money, right? Because Nadiyah was working corporate. I mean, with my trucking job, I probably made like $70,000 that first year. You know, it's trucking. But I wasn't going to see them deposit hit like that, right? And the crazy part is a year before that, my homie had called us to do the same exact thing, and we told him no.
Because we were working.
We told him no.
She
was working. I don't know why I told him no, because I probably at that point wasn't doing nothing but trying to figure it out. And we ended up telling him no, the same opportunity. It was the right time, the perfect moment.
It wasn't the right
Back
time.
then it
obviously.
wasn't,
Back then it wasn't. Yeah, back then it wasn't. But the time that we did say yes to it, we was more prepared. We was ready for it. And literally, we hit 6 figures twice. We hit 6 figures twice in a 4-month span?
Yeah.
And we hit our first 6 figures in 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from...
With a business that was only 3 months old.
Yeah, the business was only 3 months old.
It was a brand new business.
Okay, so time out. Okay, let's go back. You just said a whole lot. All right, so...
Yeah, that was a whole lot.
Number one,
Yep.
Number one, what made you say yes?
It was COVID. So me working in retail, I was a buyer for Justice, a little girl's brand. So I saw the effects of COVID happening September 2019. You know, all of our factories overseas, all of that. You know, I'm kind of seeing it before it hit the States. So when March, so when March hit, that's when you could really see it in the States. All the stores is empty, groceries flying off the racks. You know, people, you know, it was going nuts.
Yeah, those early days of COVID
it was crazy. It was rough. Yeah. It was rough. And so, actually, our baby, I never took her to the hospital to see if she had COVID, but I'm pretty positive she did. I just wouldn't allow people to instill that fear in me with everything that was going on. I kept her home one day. And I think that was on Monday. I went into work on Friday, and they were sending everybody home. You know, we were going to start working from home. And at that point, I said, okay, this ain't going to last long. You know, because, again, with me, I was in a buyer role at that point, but when I first joined Justice, I was in an administrative role, like how my mom was, right? So I worked with the president. I worked with the chief merchandise officer. So I would see budgets, how much people get paid, everything. I have visibility to everything. So I kind of understood what was happening, when it was happening, in this role down here, right? So when we went home and started working from home, I kind of knew I need to pivot. I need to figure something else out because there's a good chance people going to get laid off. People been getting laid off overseas. They're going to start downsizing. I saw that coming, right? So when COVID hit and I went home, you know, we were looking at dispatching at first before our homie called us with this opportunity. So then pivot from dispatching, okay, we going out to Toledo. So really there was nothing holding us back. And so that's what made me say yes. It was like, I know that retail isn't going to necessarily suffice. If I do decide to keep this job, the pay might get cut. You know, I might get cut. I just knew that there was a risky factor. So I'm like, well, if there's already going to be a risk, why not try this?
Yeah. And so number two, you started it by saying, man, that your faith was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Coming into this is crazy.
Right.
Talk about those moments of it's not working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you gotta talk to Nadiyah about like, man, look, I need this loan. You know, mom that helped you out, like, but it's slow at first. You're not really getting no real results immediately, but yet something still internally is telling you, nah, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Talk about like what you were feeling and what you were thinking in those moments.
Yeah. In that exact moment, I mean, I was thinking this has to work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no other plan because like I said, I was driving Uber, y'all. Like I couldn't pay back $35,000, $40,000 worth of debt driving no Uber. You know what I'm saying? Not as long as I wanted to drive or as many hours I could get it in, I was not going to be able to pay that back. So I knew at one point, at some point I should say, I knew that it was going to click or it was going to be able to be profitable. And then I did have the blanket of being able to just go get a job, right? I had the CDL, so I was able to drive trucks, and I knew I can at least make $1,000 a week to go help pay towards not only the house bills, but then this debt that I got us into the trucking. But, I come back to that statement. My faith had to be strong the whole time because at the end of the day, I didn't know anything about this industry. I jumped into this literally, like I was telling y'all, hey guys, I'm making $5,000 a week, and you just listen to this podcast, you turn on the podcast and you go get in CDL school. That's literally how I jumped in. I didn't do no formal education. Yeah. I didn't look up any books. I didn't read anything.
Took a shot.
One conversation.
I just took a shot off of one conversation that sounded really, really good. And I took a chance. So it was a major strain until it started working. You know what I'm saying? Up until the point where it started working, it was a major strain.
How were y'all challenged as a unit during those moments? You know what I'm saying? When it's not working, you know what I'm saying? You got to figure it out. You trying to make it work. How was your unit really challenged in those moments? Because that's not easy in any part of any relationship. But we talking about in the midst of COVID. We never seen this before. We in the midst of a pandemic. The world was literally shut down. People is dying outside. You know what I'm saying? So how were y'all challenged, as a unit?
Yeah, so here's the thing. The challenge really came up until COVID really hit, right? Yeah. Because once COVID hit, that's when our stuff took off.
Our stuff took off in COVID.
But pre-COVID, it was like we was going through everything. Like I said, I bought the truck. And after I buy the truck, I find out I need $20,000 more worth of work in it, right? So obviously now I got to come home and I got to tell my wife, like I said, my girlfriend then. I got to tell my girlfriend then, like, babe, we need $20,000 more, but don't worry, I'm gonna come up with it. I'm gonna get it. I got a plan.
How, Sway?
Right? That's some real
I got
love,
a plan,
man.
and that's the exact response she was giving me. How are you doing this? Just give me step by step. You know what I'm saying? She was really challenging me. You know what I'm saying? Just as far as being a provider for the family. You know, she was challenging me in ways that helped me grow and groom me, right? Because there was tough questions that she would ask me that I always didn't have the answer for, right? But what I learned is sometimes you won't have every answer. And that's okay too.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Sometimes I don't. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pray about it, right? I'm gonna give my word about it. I'm gonna ask God about it. I'm gonna seek, and I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna ask Him just to show me, right? Show me my next steps, because I don't know where I'm at. And there was plenty of times and points during that period where I was like that, because I had no answers for her, for anybody at that point, you know, because at this point people are seeing it. I'm posting it. People are seeing the truck. Yo, what's going on with the truck? What's happening? What's going on with trucking? What are you doing now, right?
Yeah, so your credibility is being challenged a little bit.
Yeah, my credibility, but which I didn't really care about, right? Because I was more thinking about my family.
Right.
I'm like, yo, I'm about to lose my family over going over this investment that, to me, like looking at it now, was stupid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out for the better. It
Right.
became a
Thank God.
blessing.
In those moments.
But you know, just looking back at it, like even now, it's like I don't like to invest like that now. You know what I'm saying? I probably and I'm not even gonna say I wouldn't, because since I've seen the outcome and how things work and play out in my favor, I wouldn't even necessarily say I would never do it like that again. But I'm more conscious about the way that I'm moving money and the way that I'm investing. Put it that way.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, John Morgan. Listen, man, right now, as y'all can see, man, I got on the new Live Your Purpose podcast merch, man. It's going crazy right now. The t-shirts, I got the dad hats. People always hit me up. John, man, where can I get it? How can I grab your stuff? You got a website, you got a site. How can I grab it? I'm here to tell you, yes, we do have a site. All right, that site is www.lypp.org. O-R-G. Again, it's www.lypp.org. Go to that website right now, man. You can find you can find a link to the YouTube channel. You can find a link to the audio platform, but you also can find where you can shop and grab your merch right now. Again, man, check us out. We got the tees going crazy right now. The dad hats. Expect to see some new products on that site. Go right now, www.lypp.org. Again, man. A lot of y'all been hitting me up asking me about this link and this site. It's available. So do yourself a favor, go through, support, shop with your boy, spend some money with your boy. I know some of y'all still got that PPE money. Come spend some with your boy, man. Peace. Man, so a couple things, man. I'm currently in the middle of reading Will Smith's new memoir book. And he was talking, and it's an amazing book.
I just bought it, yeah.
It's amazing. I'm taking it in audibly, and I don't even like listening to books that way, but this book, and he's narrating it.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing
No.
read. It's amazing. But one of the things he talks about is like when he is beginning to like take on the role as the Fresh Prince. He never acted before, but Quincy Jones is like having him at this party and like, you know, really encouraging him and empowering him, like, listen, man, take this opportunity. And the one thing that he spoke about, he was like, the thing about magic in the universe is that like it doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can always look back in hindsight and logically look at when magical things happen and be like, that shit didn't make no sense. I shouldn't did that.
Yeah.
But that's not how magic in universe, you know what I'm saying? The universe works. Like it's
Yeah.
supposed to defy odds. Like
Right.
it's not supposed to add up to logic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a powerful thing what you saying is talking about like, look, I don't even invest that way today, but I took a shot and it had to work. You know, that's very powerful.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I hear that you saying, man, that's extremely valuable is like having the foundation and the support of a good woman and a good partner. Like we always talk about like the value and the power of like relationships.
Right.
But when we talk about the power and the support of home
Yeah.
and your lady being solid, man, that's everything. When you said that she was questioning me, asking me these questions that I didn't have the answer for, bro, that viscerally speaking to me in my spirit, bro. I know what that feels like, you know, when I've talked, you know, to my lady about, you know, things that I wanted to do and things that I wanted to pursue, I never got the feeling that she was not trying to support me.
Right.
But she did challenge me in a way that asked me questions that made me think. And it wasn't necessarily that she was looking for an answer. She was like, all right, listen, I have to like challenge you, you know, to push you to grow and to like push us to grow because, you know, this is our family. These are things that, you know, these are important things to ask.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the answer. But I'm gonna, figure it out. I'm gonna do what needs to be done. I'm going to trust myself. I'm gonna be honest with her about my process. And that's what like building healthy relationships is about. It's about challenging people. It's about, receiving that challenge and like, doing something with it. Not necessarily having an answer to the question.
Right.
So that's very powerful that what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And like much kudos to you for like, receiving that in a way and like, this may not look like the the most logical thing to the outside world, but
for sure.
I trust my guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I trust who this man is. I trust the individual that he is. That's very powerful. A lot of people don't have that, man.
Yeah, I think that what set it for us though is that, prior to us getting to 2020 with Carey Brothers, right? We had another business that we started in college, so Harvard All Fashion, which was a nonprofit. But I could reflect on what we did with that business so early in our relationship and just how God blessed it and how many people we were able to impact by partnering together. So I could look back at that and I could say, okay, I don't know what the hell this man is doing right now, but I know that it's gonna work out because I've seen this work out before. So I kind of had that to hold on to, but it was challenging. It was rough. As a woman and just as a females in general, we want answers. So when you don't have an answer, and I'm asking the question a different way and trying to say, okay, well maybe you thought about it this way, and you just nothing, and then you got your friends and your family, and they're like, well, what the hell is y'all doing? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm here. We gonna rock it out. And that became a hard part for me to deal with too, because now it's not only dealing with this at home, but then you got the outside. Your friends and family love you; they want the best for you. But you're taking all that in as well, and so it got really challenging.
So let's talk about that. Like, y'all were young people and y'all started a business and in a clothing line early on in college. How did y'all have the the mindset to say, all right, we young, we love each other, but like let's jump into business together? Like, where did how did y'all know that that's what y'all wanted to do? Where did the idea even come from to it's one thing for one of y'all to start it, but for y'all both to say, let's do it together and collectively. Right. How did that come about, especially being young people?
Yeah, so really, I think it was just always there, honestly. So, again, in college, I was pretty much on different boards. I'm in different groups. I'm planning events. I'm hosting different things. And then AC, he's doing the same thing in a different light, right? He wasn't in groups and stuff, but he's, he was throwing parties. He started his own organization that was super profitable, that was known, that was doing more parties and better numbers than Greeks. Like it was nuts. He was a disruptor.
No, I was at a couple of them parties back in the day.
It was disruptive.
We had it going.
It was very disruptive to campus, okay? But so that was always there for us. So when we came together, what was that, 2014, a lot of the Greek stuff had died down. A lot of chapters had been suspended. Campus was just dead, honestly. O State just shifted so much. I think it was really the Greek part that kind of died down. What else would you say?
Yeah, that, and we were both fashion majors.
We were both fashion majors,
This is when I finally got back into school for the last time. I was no more turning back after this one. We were both fashion majors, and Nadiyah had went out to an internship.
I was in New York,
and that summer.
Yeah, I interned for Henry Bendel out in New York, and so I was able to get that experience. But leading up to that experience, I went out to New York maybe 2 summers prior, and I didn't get the internship. And so coming back to Ohio State and realizing, damn, if I wasn't Nadiyah, this would be super discouraging, because I'm going here, I have a resume that says, hey, I'm Nadiyah, I'm in these groups, and I go to Ohio State. But you're up against students from LIM, FIT, all these big fashion schools, and you're all competing for the same internship. So I'm like, this would be hella discouraging. So by the time AC and I got together, I'm like, okay, well, how can we change this for different, for everybody else on campus? After that summer, I literally went back to Ohio State, and I sat down with the dean of my school, and I had a whole proposal of classes and things that we needed to implement to make our program better. Because honestly, I'm going to be real, it was a joke. If students were coming in and telling me they wanted to do fashion design, I said, this is not the school for you. And I had some who actually changed and went to Kent, for that reason. But I was like, how can we change this? And so when AC and I got together in 2014, it was March, April. And by May, June, we had this idea of Harvard All Fashion. By September, we had started and we had our first meeting. And I want to say, 50 people showed up. And we were like, oh, shit, this is, they want this. It's lit.
And it's real.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, I feel like back in those days, and still to this day, like Nadiyah is really great at executing ideas, right? And I have great vision.
Yeah,
like I can see an event happening or a moment happening before it happens, but I may not know every step to be able to get it to execute for it to look like
y'all
that.
Speaking to me right now, man.
Right?
Me and my wife got so many of these similarities.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, that was really my point. So
Yeah.
when we came together, you know what I'm saying, it flowed instantly because I seen the vision, I seen the end point, and Nadiyah could literally take a step by step, and she had the actual experience to be able to get us there.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. One of the things, what was your statement? You said again. You said your faith was what? Say that again.
Yeah.
What you say?
Yeah, my faith will take me to spaces
I gotta write
that
that shit
the
down.
facts don't support.
My faith will take me to places my facts will not support.
Exactly.
That's powerful, man. When I hear both of y'all speak, there is this underlining, power of faith that y'all have, and through social media and just through following y'all and y'all work. One of the things that y'all really talk about is, the importance of y'all spiritual foundation and how much God really, pours into what y'all doing, which really allows y'all to
turn this up. The man above.
For real.
Which really allows y'all to provide service.
Yeah.
We talking about business, we talking about money, we talking about financial freedom and things like that. But at the end of the day, man, we talking about service.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And y'all are intentional about talking about, how important God has really played into what y'all doing. Can y'all just speak to a little bit about the importance of, how God really plays into what y'all doing?
Yeah. I'd say it was everything.
Yeah.
That was a major shift, I feel, in our relationship, in our
Life.
ideas for business, everything. We started attending church together 2017.
Yeah.
2017. And, when we went to church, and our first experience was crazy because I wasn't raised in church. Aaron probably had a little more spiritual background than I did. I knew that there was a God. I prayed to a God, but I didn't know much about anything else, right? So when we started going to church, I felt like that definitely turned us up, just having that community that could pour into us. Bible studies were cool. At one point we ended up going to marriage counseling, and that definitely helped. So just kind of seeing our personal growth and our growth together from the point, I knew how far we came just by ourselves, right? But the moment that we started attending church and things together, I felt like that just took us to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And I mean, bigger than church, right? It's like me and Nadiyah, we was already good. Even though nothing matured in the physical, right? We knew that we had great things destined. We still know that. The work is not done at all. You know what I'm saying? We're just scratching the surface, right? We're just this is the beginning of our story.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, right? But when we added God into our relationship and we put God at the head, that's when we were able to come on one accord, right? That's why we have a lot of strain and stress, even day to day right now. But we have this same, we're aligned here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're here. Instead of us just trying to go back and forth with each other, it's okay, we're at disagreement. We always know, we're going to meet right here at this point, which is through our faith, which is God, right? So it's important for any relationship, rather, right? Because you don't want to solely rely on the individual, right? That's unfair. It'd be unfair for me to put everything on Nadiyah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of doing that, we have a common ground, you know what I'm saying, which is our God, which is Jesus Christ, right? And that's who we lean in on. And once we lean in on him, we know that we're in sync. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the reason we coming up on our 2-year anniversary. And you know what I'm saying? Coming up, yeah. So we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary, and we got married coming into 2020, right?
Yep,
and we didn't have a wedding. And I'm kind of rambling right now, but this is important. We didn't have a wedding intentionally, right? Because we were sitting down planning this wedding, right? Ended up being 300 people on the list, and this is the first time sitting down and counting.
About 50 grand.
So that got us thinking, okay, when can we actually put this together? And that was pushing our marriage date back. Right. But we knew God was already calling us. Y'all need to be married. Y'all need to get married, right? So we didn't want to allow the wedding to be a distraction for us to be able to get married, right? We didn't want it to be no reason that we held off on our marriage just for the wedding, right? And we came into 2020 married, and ever since then, God has had his hand on us and 10x every single thing that we literally look and touch, period.
And what was crazy is that our pastor told us that a year before. He
that.
literally told us God wants to unleash some things in y'all life, but he can't do it where y'all are sitting at right now. He can't do it like this, So it's not that he was putting the pressure on us y'all need to get married, but he just said that a year prior, And so when we were planning that wedding and thinking about it, we were all right, let's just do it. You know, and literally, he might have decided on Monday we was getting married. We got married on a Saturday.
Yeah, because it got to the point where it was just like, now we just being disobedient.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, now God wants to bless this thing, but y'all waiting and y'all not listening for so long that he might take his hand off on it altogether.
Y'all been living
You know what
together.
I'm
Y'all
saying?
got a baby. You know, like, you know, he like, all right, I'm letting y'all slide, but come on now, you know, so.
Right. So it sounds like, you know, y'all were challenged in 2020 and during quarantine, but it ultimately is what has catapulted y'all to like thrive.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I said, man.
Quarantine was lit for us. I would say 2019 to 2020 March was the challenge.
It was
That
really,
was extremely
really tough.
challenging. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did y'all not give up? Like why did y'all keep going? Why do you think y'all didn't quit? Business wise, relationship wise, why were y'all able to see the other side?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I knew what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes what you want isn't gonna be the easiest of getting, right? So I already knew. I knew I wanted Nadiyah as my wife. I knew I wanted a family, right? I knew I wanted to be there, present. I wanted both parents in the home, right? Raising our daughter, right? I wanted my daughter to grow old and she's not even gonna remember the time that we weren't married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted my daughter to be able to see all the degrees at the house, even though we may or may not push it on her. You know what I'm saying? Like we thought we would have, but I wanted her for the family, for our legacy, right? One thing about me and Nadiyah is, you know, we breaking a lot of family curses.
Yeah.
And that's one of our purposes in our lives, right? So when you got purpose, you know, that's different than having ambition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's different than just having a drive to do something, right? So when you really truly following your purpose, and that, like I said, that's one of our purposes is to be able to break these family curses, right? My parents got divorced when I was in second grade.
Yeah.
Nadiyah's parents weren't even married.
They got married at some point.
Okay, but they not together. Put it that way.
Yeah,
they not together. So we wanted to see things different for our family, right? Not only for our household, but for the generations of Careys to come.
Yeah. What about for you? Why you think y'all didn't quit?
I think for me personally, I lost my best friend in college. So 2013, right before AC and I got together, I lost my best friend since I was in diapers, you know? And so going through the depression that came with that, still being present in all these things and having to put on this face to get through the stuff, and then it just got too much. And when that happened, everything shattered. Everything shattered. And so the one thing that period taught me was resilience. Because I would always hear him. He was my biggest cheerleader. You know, so I would always hear him, oh, Nadiyah, you got this. Let's do this. You know, let's do that. He would always encourage me. And so when he was gone, that was stripped. And so now I don't have my best friend to lean on. So I had to kind of learn and become resilient. And then, you know, he passed. 6 months later, there's another friend that I grew up with passed. So it got real quick, I would say my sophomore year. But what that taught me was resilience. It's like, how are you gonna sit here and you're gonna be in depression, or are you gonna pick your shit up and let's get to the next? Like, he wouldn't want to see you like this. So that was really what did it for me. So when we came into our relationship, that was always there. I could hear my best friend, you know, this is the one, it's gonna work out, you know, and so that would always encourage me too.
Yeah. And did you feel like, you know, y'all getting together were kind of divine? You know what I'm saying? Since you had lost somebody so close to you.
Yeah.
And then here you are meeting him, and then it was just.
I did. I really did. I never, honestly, we were friends, but like I said, we weren't super close or anything. Aaron was a ladies' man in college, okay? He was an athlete. He grew up as an athlete. Like, that is all stuff that I was like, what? How?
Right,
you know,
right.
It was nothing that if I couldn't have clocked it 10 years ago, I would have never seen it, you know, but I'm like, this is clearly God. Clearly God, okay? 'Cause, yeah. And I'm thankful for it. I'm blessed.
Hey, we blessed. We blessed.
That's beautiful. I mean, one of the things that I really do believe in is the power of, like, just universal laws. Like, you know, like we talked about, you know, the importance of, you know, of hard work and seeing how that translates in any field, you know, having faith translates in any pathway of life, you know what I'm saying? Really being able to connect to your purpose, you know what I'm saying, and knowing what you want, your vision. Those are things that are going to translate in any walk of life, you know. So to hear young people, you know, understanding the importance of just like what God has done to them, and, you know, being able to like say that in a confident way, that's powerful. You know what I'm saying? And that's it's easy to get caught up in the cliche of things sometimes, and shit sounds good, especially in this social media world. Like, a lot of times, man, this stuff just sounds good. You know, even with doing this podcast, like, I have to constantly remind myself and tell myself that, listen, what I'm doing is much deeper than just like, it's much deeper than just entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I know that I'm connected to something that's a little bit more deeper, you know, because I'm living something that is true to me. So when you're doing that, man, you got to remember that there's some responsibility and some power that comes with this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got some responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, so that's very powerful that, you know, what y'all speaking on. I want y'all to break down some stuff, man, because, you know, again, man, we bringing it back full circle. Y'all doing a lot of big things, you know, in the business side and, you know, in the credit side. I want y'all to really break down, like, the funding aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all had some stuff that y'all wanted to talk about with, like, the Amex stuff. Break it down, like, from scratch. Like, for people who don't have any ideas on what credit is, what leveraging credit is, like, the purpose of credit, like break that down, like, from the ground level. Because a lot of our people, man, a lot of black folks, we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
true.
it's not that we don't want the information. It's not that we, you know, unwilling to take the action.
Right.
We really
Just don't know. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So can y'all break down some of those things for the people?
Yeah, babe. Go ahead, break down the data points for them off rip.
Yeah. Well, before we even get into the data points, just people who don't understand credit or why they even need credit, right? I tell people, look downtown. Nobody paid cash for those buildings. Period.
Yeah.
No one brought out stacks and bags and suitcases.
That ain't how
it was
it
a
worked.
card.
That ain't how it worked.
It was a card transaction, right? So if we can look at skyscrapers and understand that nobody paid cash for that, then what makes you think that you're exempt from this, right? You need this, and you should be a part of this, and you should want to be a part of this. So when it comes to credit, there's our 6 main data points that banks are looking for when you go for funding. And we, you know, with our company, the Company Connect, which is the company that does, you know, credit funding, all those amazing things.
Shout out to the company.
Yes, shout out to the Company Connect. And what we really teach people is to focus on your data points and the way that your credit profile is structured. You know, these days people get so caught up in the score, and I was one of those people. You know, I had a 7-something credit score, but I didn't understand that I needed certain data points to get funding from certain banks, right? So we definitely teach the data points, but number one is 100% payment history. So we don't want any late payments paying. So I know everybody use Credit Karma. We got another website that we prefer y'all use, and I'm going to tell y'all why in a minute. But everybody can look at their Credit Karma. If you click the number up top, then you can look at your credit factors, right? And you can see these data points.
And real quick, disclaimer, the link to be able to view all 3 of your credit reports is going to be below. Right,
so
we're gonna get the link.
Put it below.
Yep, and it costs $1.
Do that.
It's just a $1 trial. Get all 3 of your credit reports so you can view them, all 3 of them at the same time together. That way you can really take a deep dive into your credit. All right.
You need that. Okay. But for those of you who just want to see what's going on, okay. Number 1 is 100% payment history. 2 is no derogatory marks. So we got the late payments, but if we have charge-offs, collections, things of that sort, that's going to fall under derogatories. We don't want none of those, okay? 100% payment history, no derogatory marks. We want no more than 2 to 3 inquiries per bureau, okay? So a lot of times, you know, especially when people go get cars, they get slammed because they're going straight to the dealership, and the dealer's running their credit, you know, 10, 15, 20 different times to find them funding for this thing, right? So then they walk out of dealership, you went to one dealership, and now you got 20 inquiries. And then you go to another one, and then you go to another one. So a lot of our people are getting killed with inquiries. So just keep in mind, 2 to 3, that's all you want on your report, okay? 2 to 3 inquiries. I'm sorry.
Is that
per
for
bureau?
Okay.
Per bureau.
Okay.
Per bureau.
Yep. Then you want your debt utilization
That's
under
the one.
10%. Right. So if you got a credit card, you got a $1,000 limit on it. You only want to, when it reports, you only want to have up to $100 reporting. Anything over that is going to hurt it, right? I know a lot of people out there preach 30%, but we like to keep it under 10% because once you do a 10%, then it's going to actually boost your credit, okay? And then the last point.
That's 2 more. So your age.
Okay.
Your overall age. Typically, when the banks look at your report, they want to see an average of 4 to 5 to 6 really years of age on your credit report. So that's your total accounts. And whatever that average age is, you want it to be between 5 and 6 years, okay? 4 to 5 is okay. 5 to 6 is the golden spot. Anything above that, amazing, okay? And then the final thing is just your total number of accounts. So there are different types of credit, okay? We got revolving, you got installment, you got like mortgage and rent. You know, there's different types of credit that you can have. You want to have 10 positive open accounts reporting at any given time on your credit report, okay? So it doesn't all have to be credit cards. You know, there are ways to get your rent reporting to your credit profile. There's ways that you can be added as authorized user and get that history. So there's different ways to hit this number, but you want to have 10 positive open accounts. They don't care about your closed accounts.
What are some of the like the basic accounts that people have that we don't even that we may look over.
Yep. So auto loans, okay, car loans. Sometimes there are websites where you can report your utilities to your credit reports. You also have credit cards, so those are, basic ones that everybody has.
Yep. Your mortgage.
Yep.
Personal loans, student loans.
Student loans.
Right. Student loans is a big one because usually when you go get student loans, they give you multiple of them. Mm-hmm. So as long as they're paid up on time and they're not in negative, your student loans actually help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a bar, because a lot of people, they come to us and they're like, oh my God, I want these student loans gone. And when we look at them, there's nothing wrong with it, right? We're like, as long as you're making a minimum payment on those student loans, it's actually helping you. Because if we take all your student loans off of your report, you only got 2 years of history and only 2 other accounts reporting. Yeah. So sometimes it helps people. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are the main data points that we definitely push at the Company Connect for our clients to have and hit.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, how did y'all come into doing the credit education?
Yeah.
Like, how did that? What went off in your mind to say, oh no, this is where we, can really provide value? How did that happen?
Yeah, so with us, again, our first business was a nonprofit. So it's Heart of It All Fashion. We did, events.
Yeah, and that mug was literally nonprofit, like non-profitable. it was
so
non-profitable.
Okay. It was so impactful. I think our first event, we sold out both fashion shows that we did. We were taking students to New York, LA, to get different internship opportunities. Like, it was impactful, but we couldn't sustain it because it wasn't profitable. Mm-hmm. And we had a baby. So we like, okay, power and a pivot, right? That was when I ended up going to work corporate. We had to figure some things out. But what we did with that is we leveraged our student loans to start that business. So we didn't even know what leveraging credit was, but we were leveraging credit for that first one, right? Then when we did Heart of It All, then we came into Carey Brothers. We did the same exact thing. But I think the biggest lesson that we learned with Heart of It All is as many people as we were able to impact, there was still a group of people who didn't understand it because they felt like, well, I'm not into fashion, so it doesn't make sense to me, right? Despite all the opportunity we were putting out there, it didn't make sense. So when it came to credit, we were like, well, credit is universal. Credit is going to speak to you no matter what type of business you're in, or if you're not even in business, if you're just a person, right? You still need credit. Mm-hmm. So that's really what introduced us into getting into this space. And our goal with the Company Connect is really just teaching entrepreneurs how to start, fund, and grow themselves to 6 figures or more by leveraging their credit.
Man, one of the I think that a lot of things in my own personal story, just keeping it on me for a second, like, I don't think that my situation was too much different than a lot of, black folks coming up, you know what I'm saying, in the era that we came up under, which was that from a financial literacy standpoint, like, my people just preached about getting a job, getting your education. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that my mother was big on, and I don't even think she really understood, like, the entire landscape of it, but she always talked about the importance of, like, having good credit. Mm-hmm. And, like,
that's beautiful.
Like, I don't even think, again, I don't ever remember her telling me why or, like, what I could use it for. It damn sure wasn't about leveraging no credit. Like, that was never a part of it. It was just, listen, pay your bills on time, have good credit.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think she used to speak to it from a standpoint of, like, when you do want to be able to buy something, whether that be a home or car.
Yeah, you can go do it.
Yeah, you can go do it. You won't be denied.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I learned in just like getting into like real estate investing is the importance of leveraging credit. Mm-hmm. But I don't think a lot of people really understand what that means. Like when you say leverage your credit,
right?
What does that mean? Like specifically, like tell people what that means to leverage your credit.
Yeah, in plain simple terms, you want to be able to use other people's money, right, to fund your investments, to then be able to get back a return on their money without coming out of pocket any or as little as possible. Mm-hmm. So that's the basic terminology of leveraging your credit. You're literally borrowing somebody else's money to go out there and make you more money, right, without affecting your day-to-day lifestyle, without affecting, I had this for rent, but now I'm trying to put it towards an investment. No. You keep all the money in your pocket, mm-hmm. you invest other people's money, you pay them back, and you keep the profits on top. So that's like the most simplest form of leveraging your credit, right? We are so far away from the days where people have a 700 plus credit score, and that's all they have. Right. They literally
ain't making no money with it.
You're going to the family dinners, you telling people, I got a 7. Well, what are you doing with your 700 credit score, right? Okay, you got a 700 credit score, you bought your house, you got the car that you want, but now what? right? It does not end there, right? The way that me and Nadiyah have built all of our businesses was through leveraging credit, right? Whether it was the student loans and the refund checks to get Harvard all, whether it was Nadiyah's credit cards to be able to get the Carey brothers trucking situation up and running, right?
Running.
But literally everything that we've done, and this is all facts, is documented, and it's literally done. We don't teach anything that we haven't done. Period. This Airbnb that we're sitting in right now we paid for it on a credit card. Everything that's furnished in here, to the rent, the down payment, all the deposit, all was one swipe on one credit card. We set it up. We put it on the Airbnb app, and it's been making us at least $1,000 a month profit every single month, right? This thing probably cost us in total $7,500.
Yeah,
so that means we've been here 8 months now, so we got all the money back in our own pocket. We still got the unit, making us $1,000 every single month profit for the rest of this duration of this term, right? So that's what we mean by leveraging your credit. We literally put the $7,500 up of the bank's money, right? 8 months later, we made all the bank's money back. We're gonna pay them back 0% interest. And now this whole unit is just going to be straight to our pockets every single month.
Why do y'all think people are so hesitant to like receive this information?
Right, because they're fearful. They're
Yeah.
fearful because they don't know and they don't understand, right? What we don't understand can be very scary.
Yeah.
We all know that. Like that's a basic human concept, right?
Survival.
Yeah, when you don't understand it, it can be scary, it can be fearful. That's why we provide education, right, about the credit space and what we're doing and how to leverage it and how to, I would say, assess the risk, right? Because this is very risky.
Oh yeah.
We don't want to put this information out there and let people not know that there's a risk you can lose it all and still owe that debt, right? There could have been a situation, since I'm talking about it, with this Airbnb that it didn't work out. We could have got evicted from this space, right? That means we're $7,500 in, and that could happen on the second month, and we didn't get our money back out of it, right? That's very well could happen. So when you go into invest into things, you want to have a good understanding of what you're investing in, and you want to be educated, right?
Yeah.
You want to be educated on what you're investing in so that mitigates your risk, right? So once you understand what you're going to literally put your money behind and how you're going to make profit from it, that is what's going to give you the comfort, right, and the security of going out there to go in and put that money up, put that money behind you.
Yeah. Well, break it down to us, man. Break it down to, how can people start? Like, what is a basic concept or a simplistic concept that people can follow right now to be able to leverage their credit to really be able to get funding to like start a business? Whether that's like, let's say somebody, I don't know, somebody wants to, somebody wants to do their own Airbnb business.
Right.
Like, how can somebody, really get started and leverage in their credit to make that happen?
We got a course on that too.
Okay. So listen. Very, very simple here, right? If you want to get into something that's a smaller investment, anything under $20,000 or at that $20,000 mark, you can literally do that with credit cards. Right?
Multiple credit cards.
Multiple credit cards, or maybe even one.
Maybe one.
Yeah, we got banks that lend $20,000 limits all day, right?
And even at your lowest credit scores.
So here's the thing, right?
Credit score.
Yeah. So those data points that we talked about earlier,
Necessary.
y'all need to make sure y'all have them notes down or go back, revisit it, and take the notes down because that's necessary, right? You're getting your credit together, fixing your credit, and making sure that your credit is strong is going to be the foundation of you being able to leverage it, right? Because the thing is, if you don't have good credit, no one's gonna loan you any money.
Right.
That's point blank period.
Yep.
It's credit, right? That is your credibility. That's literally what it is.
That's it.
The banks are looking at those data points and they're trying to determine whether or not they feel comfortable with lending you money, right? So the main thing, the foundation of it all, not the main thing, but the foundation is you want to get your credit situation squared away, right? So you coming in with a 700 plus clean profile, you hit all the data points, you got enough credit limits on there, you got enough age, you got enough history, right? And then once you get that piece, that's when we can really start talking about making investments and how to go get the investments. So for the ones that do and they're ready, right? You got the 700, you hit all the data points. One of my favorite plays is Key Bank, all right? Key Bank is in Ohio. It's up northeast, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, north and the East Coast, right? So Key Bank has a product out right now. It's a line of credit. So this one isn't 0% interest, but it's okay. As long as it makes sense and you can make money on top of the interest, you'll be in a good situation. But KeyBank has a product. It's a business checking line of credit. So like I said, you must have all the data points met on your personal credit. Your business must be 2 years old. So you must have a registered LLC, EIN number, business bank account, right? You want all that. What you can do is you can go into KeyBank, you start you up a business checking account. Once you start you up a business checking account, they're going to ask you, hey, can we help you out? Could we offer you anything else? You're going to say, yeah, right?
Of course.
So you can get two products for them. Yeah, you can get two products from them. You want to get the business checking credit card. That's going to come with 0% interest for 6 months, right? I've seen people get up to $20,000 on that card. And then you're also going to ask for a business checking line of credit, okay? A business checking line of credit. Now, that business checking line of credit, we got one with our 3-month-old business at the time, Carey Logistics. I had a strong credit profile. They gave me up to $50,000. I think my interest rate is like 6.7% or something like that. But they gave me up to $50,000. I didn't have to show any W-2. I didn't have to show any tax forms. I didn't have to show any paperwork.
Yeah.
They literally asked me how much I made, how much the company made. Can we run your credit? Go ahead, right? And I asked them for $50,000. I was able to get that for my business, help grow, scale, and do whatever I needed to, right? So that's one of the plays and one of the funding plays that we always run through with our clients. And we've been teaching this for, what, a year since we did it,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Since we did it. You can literally go in there with no documentation, right? Another thing, when you fill out a credit card, right? Let me ask you this, John. When you filled out the last credit card you ever got, when you put your income down, how did they know that's how much you made?
They didn't.
Exactly.
Right. and that's major because they're letting you know they're not verifying anything from you, right? So that doesn't mean I'm not telling you to go take advantage of it, but I want you to know how easy, because a lot of people are like, how do I get the money? How do I get $100,000? You can go get $50,000 right now from KeyBank with no verification, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Chase Bank. Chase Bank gave us
That
like
Business Inc.
20,000. They just upped the limit to 40,000.
They gave us 28,000 in March, and last month they upped it to 41,000.
41,000, right? So that's
still
already
0% interest.
That's already $91,000. That's only going to two places.
That's so important that you just said that it's easy to do, because that it's a mindset thing.
It's a mindset
because
thing.
somebody may hear what you just said and be like, oh shit, he talking about some scamming shit.
No, they do. That's real.
It's not that.
That's
I'm
real.
just letting you know how easy this is.
Yeah. I want people to understand, like, it's not because I'm me that they're giving me this. No,
right.
I got the qualified credentials. I go in there with my qualifying paperwork, meaning I have, like I said, my EIN paperwork. I have my LLC registered, through the Secretary of State.
Right.
And I can go in there with my strong credit, and I can go ask a bank for some money, and they're going to be willing to give it.
So question.
That's all I'm saying.
So when they run your credit, when banks run your credit, are they checking your credit score for your personal credit score or your business credit?
Yep.
That's a good question.
That's a great
So
question.
when they run your credit, they're going to run your personal credit, because you're going to have to PG, a personal guarantor, meaning since my business doesn't have the numbers and the paperwork to back it up as far as tax returns, because it may be a newer business, right? Or I just didn't file taxes on them. Since that's the case, we're going to then leverage you, the person behind the business. We're going to leverage your credit. So if anything happens to these loans or your business defaults, then we're going to come attack your personal to be able to get our money back, right? So you're leveraging yourself as well. But the main thing is, with these business credit cards and business lines of credit, it does not report to your credit report, right? That's the beauty. And why am I saying that? Why is that a big point? Because that debt utilization again. That means I can go and max out that $45,000 or $41,000 credit card that we got from Chase Bank, and I can go ask American Express for some money, and they won't even see that I have $41,000 worth of debt out there.
Right.
So that's powerful.
And you definitely can't do that in no personal loan.
You can't do that.
You can't do that with no personal loan.
Because you already know when your personal credit is shot like that, and they see that you owe other people money, like I say, your credibility. If if I see that you going up to, if I hear you coming to me asking me for some money, and I know you asked Nadiyah for some money already, and you ain't paid her back yet,
right?
Why am I gonna feel comfortable giving you some money? That's how these banks look at us as the consumers.
100%.
Right? So we got to break it down in simple and layman's terms. You're not even gonna lend out no money to your closest family member right now
you ain't giving,
if you
your
know
cousin
that they owe
That's good, man.
somebody that you know some money, right?
That's good.
So we want to break it down in
Same
simplest
thing.
terms, but the banks are looking at us at the same exact way.
Let me ask this: if you do get approved for these large amounts of credit, right? So you are approved for $40,000-$50,000 worth of credit on your limit.
Yeah.
Is the goal for you as a business owner? Is it to like slowly but surely invest that money into your business and then you pay it back over time? Or is it to like max it out quickly and then slowly pay it down? Or is it pay it back soon as possible?
Yeah, I would say it depends.
Okay.
It depends on the business. It depends on what the goals and plans for that business are in that specific year. Right now, most of ours is over time, right? So we might be investing and growing, like Company Connect just hit a year old, right? So we're still investing in systems and staff and things of that sort, right? But another business, with the trucking, we just went and hit it all at once, paid it off when we could. This Airbnb, same thing. Yeah. So I think it depends.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely depends. And it depends on where you're at in your business, right? Okay. So right now we're trying to scale. So we're worried about debt on the back end because I'm not going to give the bank back that money when I could be putting that same dollar into growing my own business to make me more money to then pay them back in a quicker amount of time, right? So, and I learned this earlier on, trying to repay back the debt too quick because you're really slowing down your own process, right? As long as you can manage the debt, you'll be fine. Now, if you're drowning in debt and you don't know how to manage it, and start slow. Like if you only have $1,000 credit card and you go get that $50,000 line of credit and you try and use all 50 at the same time, I would say slow down.
Don't do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you really have a plan and a partner or somebody that can literally show you how to leverage that much money because it can become really, really stressful, right? Just think about all them bills and credit cards you got to pay back, that debt you got to pay back. And that's the last thing. You don't want to be stressed over this, right? Some stress is healthy, but you don't want to be stressing over it. So I say that to say we're in the scaling part of our business. So our goal is to be able to make as much money now, right? So right now, the Company Connect is doing anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 consistently, right?
Yeah.
Our goal is to get it to make $100,000 a month, right? So instead of us paying back, more money to the bank, no, we're gonna put it back into our systems, back into our marketing, back into advertising, back into our growing our team.
Right.
Reinvesting it because in 6 months our growth can grow much more rapid than it would if I was only putting half of that money towards the business and half of it back into the bank.
Yeah, that's so important, man. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing that I learned, I still consider myself to be like a new entrepreneur, right? You know what I'm saying? But one of the things that I learned early on in just like embracing this lifestyle is that it's easy to get psyched out by like the language, you know what I'm saying? All of the information. Yeah. It's easy to like get so overwhelmed with all this information, especially when it's new and it's like, oh no, I'm cool. Like I'm gonna just keep working my own race. But when you really break it down to a point, like you just said, that listen, I'm not going to loan anybody any money if I know that they still owe such and such X amount of dollars. Like it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? So when you break things down in like a layman terms and like in a simplistic way, not only does it make sense, but it eradicates the fear immediately.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's very powerful. Talk to me about the importance of like paying for education and like reinvesting, because y'all just talked about like reinvesting back into your business and like building your systems, scaling your business. How much is education part of that reinvesting process as well?
It's a huge part. So last year alone, we was in our holy phase with the trucking company and stuff. We probably invested $40,000 that we were counting. I know we invested more after that, but at minimum $40,000 into personal development for both of us, right? So that's different courses, ebooks, classes, whatever. We were just investing. We just wanted to learn. We're attending different things, And so I love it. And I think one thing for us, we both went to college, right? But college does not have a guaranteed ROI, period, okay? And we, some of us had to learn that the hard way. So, we might take out 50 to 100 grand to pay for this schooling, and then you graduate, and I got friends who was taking jobs for $29,000 a year at the same school that you just paid 100 grand to. How does that make sense, right?
That does not read.
How does it make sense? But but we do it and we don't think about it because our parents and grandparents and everybody's like, oh, go to college. That's, it's a generational curse breaker, yes. And that was all I went to college for, really. I just wanted paperwork. I never went to college for a job. But I knew, okay, how can I turn this? How can I take this? And even what we learned, when you think about college, by the time you graduate, the information's old. So you're going back and you're learning something new, right? So it opened my eyes, not necessarily my eyes, but talking to a lot of my friends. I'm like, we go to college mindlessly. We just do it, right? And we take on all this debt. Me investing in courses and things are things that I'm watching people who have become masters at what they do. Now, you want to do your research. Make sure people is thorough, because everybody out here ain't thorough. It is the internet, right? It's high school. You could be whoever you want to be. You could paint your face, okay? You got to do your research. But if you do your research and you study people, like AC and I, we pretty much, anybody that we invest into, we study them about 6 to 12 months before we spend a penny with them. Majority of them. Now we got a little bit better with vetting people. But when we first started last year, 6 to 12 months minimum, we were following them. We were studying them, right? And then when we had a little money that we could invest in, we did, right? But you can get a lot of stuff for free. You can just study their page. And it became important to us to cut the corners, because now I don't have to make the same mistakes that this person made, right? We could have saved so much headache had we have just invested in a trucking course prior to listening to this person and just going out and buying a truck, right? We could have saved so much money, so much turmoil, so much headache. So it's really just a blueprint. For me, it's like, it's a no-brainer. I don't care how much the course is. I'm going to take it. If I know that this person knows what they're doing and what they're talking about, swipe it, please.
Yeah. And just going back to what Nadiyah was saying about college, I remember taking a business course, and I wasn't even trying to I wasn't clowning, but something spoke to me, and I just raised my hand and I asked my professor, I said, what business do you own? He said, what do you mean? I'm thinking yo, you teaching business class, what business you own? The man said, I never owned a business. I said, well, how are you up here teaching us a business course?
I'm not paying you, first of all.
I'm in college. I'm taking a business class, and you've never owned a business? And from that moment on, it really not that I didn't look at college, but it made me question college. Question college, right? Why am I here if the people that's teaching me aren't even experts in the field? And we're in grade school. And I'm at The Ohio State University. I'm at The Ohio State University, and I literally am in a business class, and I asked the professor, what business does he own? And he doesn't have one.
That's
right?
different.
So relating that to what the personal development, now we're literally investing into people that are millionaires in their business, right? And we're paying probably less than what a tuition would be.
Oh my gosh.
For this information that's actually actionable information from people that actually have their own business.
Correct.
Right? So the reason why we go so hard with personal development is because, like Nadiyah said, we took out them loans on college all them years with no hesitation. We signed up right for it.
Cheerfully,
ready to go to learn, right? So it's the same thing, but this time we're actually learning from experts in the field, right? And
it's 10x us.
And it's 10x us. There hasn't been one that I haven't made money from yet.
Man, that's big, man.
Yeah.
Y'all speaking to me because I am an anti-college person, and I have a college degree. I went to school for a long time, on and off. You know what I'm saying? And I went to school for social work. In a field where if I want to, I'll always be able to have employment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I chose to, but my first experience in just flipping a house and seeing how that worked. I'm like, bro, this don't make no sense. This doesn't make any sense at all to go to school and pay this amount of money, and the return on investment is this.
It's slim.
It just it didn't read to me. It was basic math.
Man, if you're not a lawyer, you're not going to be a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, an engineer. Man, it's real slim out here.
Find a course.
It's real slim out here.
My next question I was about to ask y'all is, how do y'all view college now? How do y'all view, the traditional model of schooling today?
I think, for me, I think college was a great experience place, right? So networking, meeting people, the events, And I also think it was a great place to be on hold. It was like a pause on your life because you're an adult, but you're really not an adult in college. You got, you're getting refund checks, your rent, you're roommating with 10 other people.
Right.
So your rent might be $300 a
just
month.
living.
So you're living and you're learning and you're experiencing, right? But as far as the education piece, I mean, there's nothing in college that I can really recall and that I use today at all. Yeah.
What about you?
I would say very similar. I loved college for the experience that it gave me. And I feel like when I was at college, I was definitely, I was going through my natural hair phase and all that, so pro-black everything, right? And sometimes looking back, I'm like, I wish I would have tapped into the community more outside of that. But O State, it kind of did make it a little hard for that, But I enjoyed college for the experience. We still got college friends. We just moved to Atlanta and we ran into somebody today, who we went to school with. And so I love college for that, just because we know different people in different places and spaces. And, being able to come back together in life is gorgeous, right? Yeah. We got people where we started Heart of It All. And like I said, that first meeting that we had, 50 people showed up. Those same people still follow us and tap in with us and support whatever we do 7 years later. That's crazy. And that's an experience that we wouldn't have received had we have not attended Ohio State. We wouldn't be here, right? We wouldn't be here, quite frankly, if it weren't for Ohio State. So I do love college for that, but for everything outside of the education piece, honestly, for me.
Yeah. What's the vision? What's the goal? You know what I'm saying, for the company Connect?
I'm gonna let the visionary speak.
Yeah. What do you see, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? You already said it, man. I'm a person who's able to really be able to see the vision, see the play, and see it, as it's gonna play out. What do you see? 10 years, 20, I'm talking about long term. What's the long term play?
Yeah, I mean, the long term play is that we're going to be a community that's going to have a pipeline of entrepreneurs, and we're going to help groom them. Right now the goal is the 6 figures, right? Because like I said, we only teach what we can do. Right. So right now we've hit 6 figures multiple times in multiple businesses. Yeah. So we're going to teach entrepreneurs how to make 6 figures, right? But eventually, long term, we want to be millionaires. We want to be coaching millionaires. So that's the long term vision of it, right? The credit repair is like a byproduct of what we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Nadiyah have always been servant leaders. And we've always been one to be able to help the community and grow the community and groom our community. So that's really our vision. We want to be able to help and coach people to become millionaires. First by coaching us ourselves to be able to become millionaires. And then second, being that helping hand to be able to bring them one by one or group by group into the millionaire club.
What about you?
That's it.
I know that's right. And you gonna help execute it.
Okay. That's me. But that's
for
it.
Sure. Well, listen, man, thank y'all so much. This has been beautiful, man. You guys have provided so much value and so much gain, to the listeners, that I know people, like, if people really take in this information and sit with it, it can be life-changing for people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Especially, like, coming off to the time, being in this pandemic where there's so much changing, so much transition happening. You know what I'm saying? The people are leaving their jobs every day. You know what I'm saying? They taking their chances on themselves.
For sure.
And this is an avenue that, I'm a firm believer that, can really be life-changing, which is why I wanted y'all to come on and really share this. But not only that, man, I really do believe that you guys are providing a genuine service that can really be helpful, not only to people, but to black people specifically. You know what I'm saying? And we want to be intentional about that. So I thank y'all for that. Before I get y'all out of here and hit y'all with, with some rapid questions, is there anything else that y'all really want to leave the people with, as far as like how they can get tapped in with y'all, things that y'all want to offer? Just tell people what they need to know before we go ahead and get y'all out of here.
Yeah, you give them the offer.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So right now we do have an offer available. We're gonna take 10 entrepreneurs or wantrepreneurs, right? We're gonna take 10 entrepreneurs or wantrepreneurs. We have a coaching program. We're gonna do weekly calls. We're gonna show you obviously the credit piece, how to repair credit for yourself and others. We're also going to show you guys how to receive $100K plus in funding. And most importantly, we're going to show you guys exactly what to do. Once you get that $100K in funding, we're going to show you exactly what to do. We're going to have you different avenues from the trucking industry, Airbnb, industries for artists, right? So we're going to be able to coach you guys how to take that money and make 6 figures with that money.
Right. I'm excited for it, though.
Let's get it.
I'm excited for it. It's gonna be lit.
So hold on. But before I end it, if you're interested, right, just click the link and go ahead and put in code LYP for Live Your Purpose. You're gonna get a nice discount on the first official class. So we're only taking 10. So act fast.
Yep, act fast. I'm excited for that.
Beautiful, man.
Yes.
This has been wonderful. AC, Nadiyah, man, thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate y'all coming. I appreciate, everything that y'all done for the team and having us come down here.
No, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys.
Got my team with me, man. It's my dude's first time on the flight.
Hey, we in this. We're here.
This is a beautiful thing, man, because my dude Darrell has been with me since day one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Kudos to you. Kudos to you.
He's an engineer and audio savant. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when I was in the living room at my house and I had a iPhone and a cheap ass little stand.
Yeah.
He was right there with me. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
this won't be our first one in another state. You know what I'm saying? Shooting it with y'all.
More to come.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
more to
it's
come.
divine order.
Yeah.
This is, going to continue to grow.
I ain't gonna lie, I got like 10 other entrepreneurs right now that's lined up out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you don't have no idea about, but they're ready to work. So
for sure. Well,
that's doing some great, amazing things.
That's beautiful,
amazing
man.
things.
That's beautiful. Well, listen, man, thank y'all so much. I want to hit y'all with a couple rapid questions before we get on out of here.
Let's do it.
To really be able to lead people with some game. Tell me this, both of y'all, personally, professionally. What is something, a weakness or something that y'all really want to be able to work on? It could be personally, professionally, just something that y'all really want to be intentional that y'all can work on, help, grow yourself and evolve yourself.
Gotcha. I think for me, one of our one of our mentors always says success loves speed. So I think that we execute, but how do we improve it and get even quicker at the execution? So that's the main thing for me, just speeding up the turnaround on things.
Yeah, I think for me, what I really want to work on and develop on me personally within my business and personal life is just being able to communicate better, like via email, text message on the back end, because I really struggle. Like, people don't know, or some people know, but I can't spell worth shit.
Cannot spell.
Right? So that
God.
hinders me, though. That hinders me in my business because I feel like I can't do emails and I can't do, even though we got spell check, but I just feel like it just throws me off mentally, right? So I really want to work on myself, becoming a better speller, reading more and being a better professional typer. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. What are you guys' intentions to close out 2021, going into 2022? What do you really want to just be intentional about? I'm big on intentions, not necessarily what do you call it, New Year's resolutions. I like to be, really be intentional about how you spending your time. What do y'all want to be intentional about?
So I think for me, I don't know what's gonna happen in 2022, but my entire life, I've always felt like 2022 is going to be a big year. My birthday is 3/22, and it's certain numbers in my life that just certain numbers just hit.
Right.
So I know
you
something.
Aries?
I am.
My wife's birthday is a week after that.
There we go. See. So you know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know the
sure.
energy.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, 2022. I don't know what's coming. I don't know what God has planned, but I know that it's going to be something great because He's always told me my entire life 2022, right? So I'm excited for whatever that is.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be more intentional about just being a better husband. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I communicate, make sure we make time outside of working to be able to work on, developing our personal relationship,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, outside of the workspace and all that. And then I'm also intentional about doing 100K a month in 2022.
Okay, good. What's you guys' purpose and how's that connected to what you're doing today?
Gotcha. I feel like our biggest purpose is that we are curse breakers, whether that's generational or in general. I think, just me leaving my job last year was the starting point for it for me, personally. I think in business, we had started a long time before that, but me actually leaving and truly walking in purpose started then. So I would say, hold on, I'm rambling. What was that? Let me bring it back. I lost it.
No, you were just saying that your purpose is being a generational curse breaker.
It is. It's being a generational curse breaker. I think there are so many strongholds in our family that God has revealed to us both personally and as a unit that are to be lifted, and He's challenged us with that, and so I think just walking in that, honestly.
Yeah. And then to go along with that, our purpose ultimately is to be doers of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Not just believers, but being doers, right?
Yeah.
I want people to be able to see us and see the light within us, right? And I really want to put on for everything that God has been doing in our life. So yeah.
What's something about you both that people would be surprised to know?
Oh man.
I don't even know. Really, like I said, I can't spell worth a lick. Like, that's just something that you would think that I can speak it and I can, I can like articulate myself, but I can't spell worth a lick.
I was thinking about this one, and I really
you
was struggling. I don't know. I still can't come up with
You don't know?
that one. I really
all right,
don't.
I'm gonna come back to
We
you.
gonna come back to it.
Okay, all right. What scares you?
Ooh. I think the main thing that scares me is not trying something. You know, to look back, you know, you hear so many, the what if, you know, you got so many family members and, you know, the old heads, they always like, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. And I'm like, well, damn, why didn't you? Right. You know, so I think that's the main thing that scares me is like, I don't want to, you know, be old prayerfully, you know, and looking back like, damn, why didn't I do that? I want to do everything while I'm here. So,
Yeah, and I mean, pretty much the same thing, but just not fulfilling my purpose. Like that, I'm really fearful of going through this whole life and not really get to that point where it's like, wow, I did it. I'm done. I'm finished.
Favorite quote?
Mine is discipline, not determination, that determines your destiny.
That's a good one. I think mine right now, I'm going to rock with the same one.
You
Success, love, speed.
Okay,
that's it. That one been in my head.
What's the best advice y'all ever received? As a unit or individually?
The best advice.
I want to know the best advice y'all ever received as a unit.
For me, it was to get married. Because if I didn't take that advice, I'm telling you, we just 10x.
Right.
To get married was the best advice that I could have taken in that specific moment that really turned my life all the way around.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. That was as a unit. So now personally.
Yeah, I think the best advice was really just to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? It sounds cliche and boring, but like to really do you, right? Yeah. Don't try and focus on what other people are doing, and to be you unapologetically. Like that's really the best advice I could have taken.
Absolutely. I mean, clearly we're married, but I was going to say something very similar, just to be unapologetically you. Yeah. You know, I think especially, you know, going through like middle school, high school, you know, it's weird times. College can be weird, and, you know, you change, you shift. Even where we're at today, you know, I'm a completely different person than I was 10 years ago. And so sometimes, you know, friendships change, family relationships change. But, you know, I think that you really have to learn how to love yourself and be comfortable with who you are and accept the change and welcome it. You know, it's not a problem. I'm happy that she's here. You know, so I think that was probably the best advice that I received.
Okay. If y'all could pick up the phone and call your 20-year-old self, y'all both young at Old State, what would you tell yourself?
Lay off the weed.
No, but really.
For real though, I feel you, bro. I feel you, man.
I would just, you know, tell you to keep going. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything that done happened from my past, it all makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't really change nothing except for getting to spaces and places faster. You know what I'm saying? But just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Embrace life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't just go through the motions. Like live it to the fullest.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say just everything's gonna be okay. You know, because I was going through a rough time. Like right before we got to, I was going through a really rough time.
Yeah.
So just knowing that everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna work out, you know, is my main thing.
Yeah, nothing lasts forever.
Right.
Things happen in seasons. My wife always says that things happen in seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. But listen, man, tell everybody your social media tags, where they can find y'all, websites, how they can get hooked onto y'all courses y'all name, what y'all got coming up, what y'all want to leave the people with. Yes.
So I guess we start with social media. You can follow me at Nadiyah on Instagram. I'm not that big on Twitter, but I am on there. So Nadiyah is NADIHAFEEEZA. And again, that's on Instagram is where I'm most prominent. You can follow The Company Connect. So it's just The Company Connect on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube as well. And then you can tap in with us on our website at www.thecompanyconnect.com.
Yep, you can follow me at AC_the legend. Let's go.
Man, the Careys, man, AC, Nadiyah, man, this has been beautiful. This has been wonderful. Listen, hold on. I want y'all to edit this part out. I didn't ask y'all beforehand. I had sent it in the questions. One of the things that I do on here is I have the guest lobby for a special guest. When we first started the pod, I had my guest lobby for Arian Foster. Used to play NFL for the Texans and stuff. Okay. I had him on back in January.
Ooh, nice.
We had a real dope conversation. The next person that we trying to get on is Charlamagne the God.
Okay.
But I like to ask people beforehand, before we get into these, because I done had people tell me like, I don't fuck with him, so I'm not doing this. So I like to. So my bad. I meant to ask y'all beforehand if y'all was okay with that.
Cool
if y'all are, I want y'all to look into the camera and tell Charlamagne the God why he should be a guest on the Live Your Purpose podcast. Are y'all cool with that?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, bet. You be rolling, we good?
Yeah.
All right, tell Charlamagne the God why he should be a guest on the Live Your Purpose podcast.
Yes, go ahead.
Yo, Charlamagne, you definitely want to tap in with my guy John, everything he has going on. I know that you are definitely in the space of mental health and mental awareness. This guy is the epitome of that, specifically with his podcast, doing great things and major things. Is something that you definitely want to tap into. So go ahead, have a conversation with my guy so you guys can talk through some of that mental health issues. Let's go.
I love that, yeah. And I would just say it's a whole new market, baby. We got a little younger market, okay? We got another, okay, he doing his podcast thing, so tap in. Why not? Tap in.
For sure.
Support this brother.
Listen, man, thank y'all so much, man. This has been wonderful. Thank y'all again, man. Shout out to the community, man.
For sure.
LYP, man, I can't do this without y'all, my team. Gabe, the real, much love to y'all, man. I cannot do this without my team, man. We gonna continue to build this thing. This is only the beginning, like my guy AC said, man. We're gonna continue to build this thing and grow it and take it to the highest heights, man. So thank y'all.
Let's go.
Thank you so much.
Another episode, LYP Atlanta edition. Peace.
Yes.